Captain Hien-Woo stared at the large screen in front of him. Strange ships moved through space like giant metal fish. They were bigger than his colony ship, darker too. Their hulls looked like they were made from black stone instead of metal. "So Young, come look at this," he called to his wife. She was in the lab section, studying plant samples for their new home. Dr. So Young walked into the command room, wiping her hands on a clean cloth. She had been working with soil samples all morning. Her eyes went wide when she saw the alien. "Ships, how many are there?" she asked. 7 ships. "Maybe 8? They appeared an hour ago," Hien-Woo said. His voice was calm, but his hands shook a little. "They're not responding to our messages." The colony ship New Hope carried 200 people. Most were families with children. Some were teachers, doctors, and engineers. They had left Earth 6 months ago to start a new life near Tau Ceti, a star 11 light-years from home. Hien-Woo had been a soldier once. He fought in the Mars Wars 20 years ago, but now he was just a transport captain, taking people to new worlds. He thought his fighting days were over. The radio made a loud noise. A voice spoke in broken human language. "Human. Ship, you stop now. We are Vorthic Empire. You give us tribute. You become our servants. No choice." So Young looked at her husband. "What do they mean by tribute?" "They want us to pay them, like a tax. And they want us to work for them," Hien-Woo explained. He had heard about alien empires from other pilots. Most were bullies who picked on weaker species. Hien-Woo pressed the talk button. "This is Captain Hien-Woo of the human colony ship New Hope. We are peaceful travelers." "We don't want any trouble," the alien voice laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. "Peaceful means weak. Weak means you serve us, prepare to be boarded." "Boarded?" So Young whispered. "They want to come on our ship?" 3 alien ships moved closer. They were shaped like triangles with sharp edges. Green lights blinked along their sides. Hien-Woo could see weapons pointing at his ship. "All families to the safe rooms," Hien-Woo announced over the ship's speakers. This is not a drill. Parents grabbed their children and ran to the protected areas of the ship. Teachers helped organize the younger kids. The safe rooms had thick walls and emergency supplies. Taemin, the chief engineer, ran into the command room. "Captain, they're using some kind of energy beam on our engines. We can't move. Can you fix them?" Hien-Woo asked. "Not while they're shooting at us," Taemin replied. He was a big man with strong hands from working with machines. "The beam is cooking our drive system." So Young touched her husband's arm. "Let me talk to them. Maybe I can make them understand we're not a threat." Hien-Woo looked at his wife. She was smart and good with words. Maybe she could find a peaceful solution. "Unknown ships. This is Dr. So Young, Science Officer of New Hope. We are researchers and families looking for a new home. We have valuable knowledge about biology and medicine. Perhaps we can trade information instead of fighting." The alien voice came back angrier than before. "You dare negotiate with the Vorthic Empire? You insects think you are equal to us?" Larger metal tubes shot out from the alien ships. They stuck to the hull of New Hope like giant hooks. Hien-Woo heard drilling sounds through the walls. "They're cutting through our hull?" Taemin shouted. Hien-Woo's mind switched from peaceful captain to old soldier. His military training came back like muscle memory. "Taemin, get me a list of all the construction equipment we have." "Jin-ae," he called to the head teacher, "I need you to organize the civilians. Anyone who can fight, send them to me. Everyone else stays in the safe rooms." Jin-ae was a small woman, but she had steel in her eyes. "What about the children?" "Keep them safe." "That's your job now?" Hien-Woo said. Dr. Young-soo, the ship's doctor, appeared with a medical kit. "Captain, I can help. I was a field medic before medical school." "Good, we'll need you," Hien-Woo said. The drilling sounds got louder. Sparks flew from the walls where the aliens were cutting through. Red emergency lights flashed throughout the ship. Tae-Min returned with a tablet computer. "We have mining drills, welding torches, construction robots, and lots of metal cutting tools. Oh, and the cargo bay has farming equipment." Farming equipment? Han-Wu raised an eyebrow. Heavy tractors, soil processors, tree-cutting machines. They're built tough for rough work. Han-Wu smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. Perfect. Start moving everything to the areas where they're boarding. Set up barriers. Captain, So Young said, I'm not leaving you. You should go to the safe room with the families. No. I'm staying. These aliens attacked us without cause. They killed 17 people when they destroyed our engines. Her voice was hard with anger. The first alien broke through the hull. It was tall and gray with 4 arms and glowing red eyes. Behind it came more aliens carrying energy weapons that hummed with deadly power, but they walked into a trap. Min had positioned a mining robot at the breach point. When the first alien stepped through, the robot's drill arm activated. The alien never saw it coming. More aliens poured through, but they faced modified construction equipment turned into weapons. Welding torches became flamethrowers. Metal-cutting lasers became precision guns. Even the farming tractors were turned into mobile barriers with weapons mounted on top. The aliens had expected to face scared civilians with no weapons. Instead, they found humans who turned everyday tools into instruments of war. Janae appeared with a group of parents and teachers. They carried improvised weapons made from kitchen knives attached to mop handles. Where do you need us, Captain? Han-Wu realized these weren't just civilians anymore. They were defenders protecting their families. The fear in their eyes had changed to determination. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it was over, the humans had not only stopped the alien boarders but captured 2 alien soldiers. 3 alien ships were damaged and retreating. Han-Wu stood in the ruined cargo bay, looking at the alien prisoners. So Young was treating wounded humans and aliens alike with equal care. Why did you attack us? Han-Wu asked the alien commander. The creature's red eyes flickered with confusion. You are supposed to be weak, primitive. How did you defeat trained Vorthok warriors? Han-Wu looked around at his people. Taemin was fixing a damaged robot. Jin-A was organizing cleanup crews. Dr. Young-Soo was studying alien blood samples to understand their biology better. We're just colonists, Han-Wu said quietly. Farmers and teachers and doctors. We came here to build a new home, not to fight a war. The alien commander's eyes went wide with fear. If you're just colonists, what are your real warriors like? Han-Wu didn't answer. He was already thinking about the message he would send to Earth. The galaxy had just learned something important about humans. They were dangerous even when they didn't want to be. The war hadn't started yet. This was just the beginning. 3 weeks had passed since the first alien attack. The colony ship New Hope sat broken but not defeated in the Tau Ceti system. Taemin worked day and night fixing the engines while everyone else prepared for what they knew would come next. They'll be back, Han-Wu told the assembled colonists in the main hall. The aliens won't ignore what happened here. Janae stood up from her seat. She looked different now. Gone was the gentle teacher who read stories to children. Her eyes were hard and focused. What do we do when they return? We fight, Han-Wu said simply. But not like soldiers fight. We fight like humans. Dr. Young-Soo raised his hand. I've been studying the alien blood samples. They have some interesting weaknesses. He held up a small bottle of green liquid. Their immune system can't handle certain Earth bacteria. I've been growing cultures in the medical lab. So Young frowned. You want to make them sick? They attacked our children, Young-Soo replied coldly. They killed 17 innocent people. Yes, I want to make them very sick. Taemin wiped grease from his hands. The engines are dead, but I have an idea. We can't move the ship, but we can move everything else. He pointed to the window showing space around them. There are 3 asteroid fields in this system. Lots of raw materials. What are you thinking? Han-Wu asked. We turn this whole system into a fortress. Use the mining equipment to hollow out asteroids. Place weapons inside them. When the aliens come back, they won't just be fighting us. They'll be fighting the entire solar system. Janae smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. I like it. I've been teaching the other parents some things. Old skills from my military days. Hanwoo looked surprised. You were military? Special Forces, Mars Rebellion. I taught hand-to-hand combat and explosives handling before I became a teacher. She looked around the room. Turns out you never really forget how to make things go boom. Over the next month, the colonists transformed from refugees into something else entirely. They became a force that would make the aliens very sorry they had ever heard of humans. Taemin led teams of engineers and workers to the asteroid fields. They used mining robots to carve out hidden bases inside the rocks. Each asteroid became a small fortress with weapons made from construction equipment. The farming tractors were rebuilt into mobile weapons platforms. Their plows became ramming spikes. Their spraying systems became chemical weapon dispensers. Filled with Dr. Young-Soo's alien-killing bacteria, Jin-A turned the ship's playground into a training ground. She taught parents how to use kitchen knives as throwing weapons. She showed them how to make explosives from cleaning supplies and fertilizer. Most importantly, she taught them how to think like predators instead of prey. The aliens think like conquerors, she explained to a group of mothers and fathers. They expect us to surrender or run away. Instead, we're going to hunt them. So Young focused on intelligence gathering. She studied the captured alien equipment, learning how their technology worked. She discovered their communication frequencies and began listening to their radio messages. There's a fleet coming, she announced during one of their planning meetings. 50 ships. They call it a punishment force. Dr. Young-Soo grinned wickedly. 50 ships full of aliens who have no immunity to Earth diseases. This should be interesting. The colonists worked with desperate energy. Every day brought new preparations, new weapons, new traps. They turned their peaceful colony ship into the center of a web of destruction that stretched across the solar system. Children helped too, in their own way. They painted asteroids to look like harmless rocks. They recorded fake distress signals to confuse alien sensors. They even designed camouflage patterns that would hide human weapons from alien scanners. Captain, Taemin called over the radio from Asteroid Base 7, we've got a problem. I can see alien scout ships at the edge of the system. Hyunwoo looked at the tactical display. 12 small alien vessels were moving carefully through space, probably looking for defenses they could report back about. Let them look, Janae said with a cold smile. They won't find anything until it's too late. The alien scouts spent 3 days mapping the system. They saw a broken colony ship, some mining operations, and lots of ordinary asteroids. Their sensors detected no military installations, no weapons platforms, no signs of serious resistance. What they didn't see were the hollow asteroids filled with modified construction equipment. They didn't detect the camouflage missile silos built into mining stations. They missed the network of communication relays hidden in pieces of space junk. Most importantly, they didn't understand what they were really looking at. To alien eyes, the humans appeared to be ordinary civilians trying to repair their ship and continue their peaceful colonization. The main fleet is jumping in, So Young announced from the communications station. 50 ships, just like we expected. Henanwu felt his heart pounding. They were about to face a real military force with improvised weapons and civilian volunteers. It should have been impossible, but as he looked around at his people, he realized they weren't civilians anymore. Janae had turned frightened parents into cold-eyed fighters. Taemin had transformed farmers and teachers into engineers of destruction. Dr. Young-Soo had become something that would give alien nightmares. All stations, this is Captain Hyun-woo, he said into the radio. Remember, we're not trying to win a battle. We're protecting our families. There's a difference. The alien fleet appeared in flashes of twisted space. 50 warships, each one. Bigger and more heavily armed than the colony ship. They formed up in perfect military formation, ready to deliver overwhelming force against helpless refugees. The alien commander sent a message on all frequencies. Humans of the failed colony, you have defied the Vorthic Empire. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Henwoo picked up the radio microphone. This is Captain Hyun-woo. We have women and children aboard this ship. We request safe passage to leave this system. Denied. You have killed Vorthic warriors. You must be punished as an example to others. Then I guess we'll have to do this the hard way, Hien-Wu said quietly. He switched to the internal channel. All units, weapons free. Show them what humans do to bullies. The first alien ship to die never saw it coming. It passed close to what looked like an ordinary asteroid, and suddenly the rock split open like a flower. Construction lasers, mining drills, and improvised missiles erupted from inside, tearing the warship apart in seconds. Then another asteroid opened up, and another. The aliens found themselves flying through a minefield that fought back, but the real surprise came when the scattered pieces of space junk suddenly came alive. Each piece was actually a camouflaged missile with a human brain controlling it. The colonists had turned their repair robots into guided weapons that could think and plan impossible. The alien commander screamed over the radio, "These are civilian tools! How are they destroying our warships?" Janae's voice came over the frequency, cold as space itself. "You wanted to hurt our children. Bad choice." The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, 37 alien ships were destroyed or crippled. The remaining 13 fled in terror, carrying news that would shake the Vorthic Empire to its foundations. Hien-Wu stood in the damaged command center, looking at the tactical display. So Young was treating wounded colonists while Temin supervised salvage operations on the destroyed alien ships. "Captain," Young-Su said, holding up a container of alien blood samples. "I've been thinking. We should send some of these samples to Earth. Let our real scientists study them." "Our real scientists?" Hien-Wu asked. "We're just colonists, remember? Farmers and teachers and doctors. Imagine what actual military researchers could do with this information." Hien-Wu nodded slowly. The aliens thought they had been fighting humanity's military. They had no idea what was coming next. The message drone launched toward Earth 3 days later, carrying complete records of the battles, alien technology samples, and a simple request for backup. Not because the colonists couldn't handle the situation, but because they were tired of fighting and wanted to go back to farming. The real war was about to begin. Admiral Haewon sat in her office on Luna Base, Earth's moon, reading the same report for the 3rd time. The coffee in her cup had gone cold hours ago, but she didn't notice. What she was reading didn't make sense. A colony ship fought off 50 alien warships? She said to herself, "That's impossible." Her assistant, Lieutenant Commander Sujin, knocked on the door. "Admiral, you wanted to see the full data package from Tau Ceti?" "Yes, bring it in." Hey, one had been in the Stellar Defense Corps for 30 years. She had fought pirates, rebels, and the occasional hostile alien probe. But nothing like this. Sujin placed a data tablet on the desk. "It's all here, ma'am. Battle recordings, alien technology scans, casualty reports. The colonists managed to capture intact alien weapons and even some prisoners." Haewon scrolled through the files. Video recordings showed construction robots fighting alien soldiers, mining equipment destroying warships, ordinary people using farming tools as weapons. "This Captain Hien-Wu," she said, reading his file. "It says here he was discharged from the Corps 20 years ago, Mars campaign." "Yes, ma'am. Decorated veteran, but he chose civilian life after the war, became a transport pilot. And now he's fighting an alien empire with a bunch of farmers and teachers." Haewon shook her head. "Have we confirmed this is real? Not some kind of simulation or propaganda?" "The quantum signatures match, Admiral. The message drone is definitely from Tau Ceti, and we've started picking up alien communications in that region. They're calling for reinforcements." General Du Hyen walked into the office without knocking. He was a big man with scars on his face from the asteroid wars. "Haewon, have you seen the Tau Ceti reports?" "I'm looking at them now. Do you believe this?" "I believe that civilians fought aliens and won. What I don't believe is that this stays a civilian problem much longer." Du Hyen pulled up a chair. "The aliens think they fought our military. When they find out the truth, they'll come looking for our real military," Haewon finished. "Which means they'll come looking for us." President Sujin called an emergency meeting in the Defense Council chambers deep under Geneva. The room was designed for the worst-case scenarios: alien invasion, asteroid impact, solar flares. Today, it would discuss all three possibilities at once. Ladies and gentlemen, President Sujin began, 6 months ago, we lost contact with a colony ship carrying 200 civilians. Today we learned they've been fighting a war. The president activated the main display. Images from Tau Ceti filled the walls, human families building weapons from farm equipment, children painting camouflage on asteroids, teachers loading explosive devices made from cleaning supplies. The good news is that our people are alive and winning. The bad news is that they've apparently made enemies of something called the Vorthic Empire. Defense Minister Wu Jin raised his hand. What do we know about this empire? Admiral Haywon stood up. According to the colonists' intelligence, the Vorthic control over 300 star systems. They've been the dominant power in this region of the galaxy for thousands of years. Their military doctrine is based on overwhelming technological superiority. But they lost the colonists with mining equipment, General Du Hyan added, which tells us something interesting about their combat experience. What do you mean? The president asked. They're bullies, ma'am. They're used to fighting species that surrender quickly or die easily. They've never faced anyone who fights dirty, adapts quickly, or refuses to give up. Dr. Young-Su's voice came over the communication system from Tau Ceti. The colonists had established regular contact with Earth after capturing alien long-range transmitters. Earth Control, this is Tau Ceti Colony. We need to warn you about something. The aliens are mobilizing a much larger fleet. Our intelligence suggests they're planning to trace our message drones back to Earth. President Sujin leaned forward. Doctor, what's your estimate of their capabilities? Based on captured technology, they're about 50 years behind us in material science and computer technology. But they're ahead of us in energy weapons and faster-than-light travel. The real problem is numbers. They have thousands of ships. General. Du Hyan smiled grimly. Numbers are good. We like fighting people who think numbers are more important than tactics. General, the president said carefully, are you suggesting we want a war with an alien empire? Ma'am, I'm suggesting that if they want a war with us, they're going to get a very different fight than they expect. Our colonists have been pretending to be weak and desperate. The aliens think that was our military at full strength. Admiral Haywon pulled up tactical displays. The Stellar Defense Corps has been preparing for interstellar conflict for decades. We've built weapons and ships that assume we'll be outnumbered and outgunned. Everything we have is designed for asymmetric warfare. Asymmetric? The president asked. Fighting smart instead of fighting fair, ma'am. The aliens expect honorable battle between fleets of warships. We're prepared to do things they've never imagined. Back on Tau Ceti, the colonists continued their preparations. But now they had a different job. Instead of just defending themselves, they were gathering intelligence for Earth's military. So Young had become an expert on alien technology. Their ships are tough but predictable, she reported to Earth. They rely on energy shields that can't handle sustained physical impact. Their weapons are powerful but slow to aim. Most importantly, their communications use quantum encryption that we've already cracked. Janae had developed into something that scared even her fellow colonists. The aliens fight like robots, she explained to a class of Earth military officers. Via video link. They follow doctrine exactly. No improvisation, no adaptation. Once you understand their patterns, they're sitting ducks. Taemin had become a master of improvised warfare. Everything they build is designed to intimidate, he told Earth's engineers. Big, scary-looking, but not efficient. We can build smaller, smarter weapons that will tear their ships apart. The most disturbing report came from Dr. Young-Su. The aliens have never fought a species like us. Their entire military philosophy is based on technological superiority. They can't comprehend an enemy that uses biology as a weapon or turns peaceful equipment into instruments of war. What does that mean for us? Admiral Haywon asked. It means they're going to keep underestimating humans until it's too late. They think our colonists represent our best military effort? When your real warships arrive, it's going to be a slaughter. Earth's military mobilization began quietly. Shipyards that had been building peaceful exploration vessels started producing warships. Research facilities that studied asteroid mining began developing planet-killer weapons. Training academies that prepared pilots for routine patrols started, teaching combat tactics that had never been used in actual war. The most classified project was codenamed Homecoming. Earth's best military minds studied the Tau Ceti reports and designed weapons specifically for fighting the Vorthak Empire. Ships that could disguise themselves as debris. Missiles that could think and learn. Soldiers trained to fight in any environment against any enemy. How long until we're ready? President Sujin asked in a closed session. 6 months for full deployment, General Duhayan replied. But we can have advanced scouts in Vorthak space within 8 weeks. Advanced scouts? Admiral Haywon smiled. Volunteers from special operations. People who specialize in making the enemy's life miserable before the real war starts. The president looked at the tactical displays showing alien fleet movements. Thousands of ships were moving toward human space, confident in their coming victory over the primitives who had dared to resist the Vorthak Empire. Admiral, General, begin Operation Homecoming. But remember, our colonists are still out there fighting. Whatever we do, we protect our people first. Understood, ma'am. But I think you should know something, General Duhayan said. Those colonists aren't our people anymore. They're our advance guard. And they've been doing a hell of a job. The message went out to Tau Ceti on a tight beam transmission. Help is coming. Hold position. Make them sorry they ever met humans. Captain Hyeon Woo received the message while coordinating repairs on their latest batch of captured alien ships. He looked at the tactical display showing the approaching enemy fleet, then at his people working with calm efficiency to prepare for the next battle. So Young, he called to his wife, Earth says help is coming. She looked up from an alien computer she was reprogramming. Good, I'm getting tired of fighting with farming equipment. It'll be nice to see what our real military can do. The war was about to become very interesting. High Commander Veltar of the Vorthak Empire stood in his command chamber aboard the flagship Eternal Dominion. The room was vast and dark, designed to intimidate anyone who entered. Holographic displays showed the positions of 300 Vorthak fleets across the galaxy. For the first time in his 200-year military career, Veltar was afraid. Show me the Tau Ceti reports again. He ordered his intelligence officer. The displays changed to show battle recordings from the human system. Veltar watched alien warships being destroyed by mining equipment. He saw construction robots killing trained Vorthak soldiers. Most disturbing of all, he watched humans turn peaceful tools into weapons of war with terrifying creativity. This makes no sense, Veltar said to himself. How did primitives defeat our third fleet? His communications officer approached carefully. In the Vorthak Empire, bringing bad news to commanders was often a death sentence. High Commander, we have received another report from the human region. Fleet Commander Zakran S. Punishment Force has been defeated. Veltar S. forearms tensed with rage. 50 warships destroyed by colonists? This is impossible. The survivors report that the humans used tactics no civilized species would consider. They hid weapons inside asteroids. They turned space debris into guided missiles. They fought like... The officer searched for words like wild animals. Animals, Veltar repeated slowly. Show me everything we know about this species called humans. The displays filled with data collected by Vorthak scouts over the past century. Most of it came from long-range observations of human space. What they saw should have been reassuring. A young species, limited to one star system. No evidence of advanced military technology. But now that data looked different in light of recent battles. Look at this, Veltar pointed to images of human cities. They build their settlements like fortresses. Every building can be defended. Every street can become a battlefield. Perhaps that is just their architectural style, the intelligence officer suggested. No, look at their history files. Veltar pulled up records stolen from human databases. They have been at war for their entire existence. Not just with other species, but with each other, with their planet. With everything, the data was horrifying to Vorthak minds. Humans had fought continuous wars for thousands of years. They had developed weapons that could destroy their own planet. They had turned their entire civilization into a machine for producing better ways to kill their enemies. "Hi, Commander," a new voice interrupted. "We have a human aboard who might provide insight." Bioram entered the command chamber under heavy guard. She was a small human woman who had been captured during a raid on a research station 15 years ago. The Vorthak had kept her alive to study human psychology and culture. "You wanted to see me?" Bioram asked in perfect Vorthak language. Her tone was respectful but not afraid. "Explain to me how your colonists defeated our fleets," Veltar demanded. Bioram looked at the battle recordings with professional interest. "Oh, I see. You fought civilians? Civilians?" Veltar's red eyes flickered. "These were your military forces, your best warriors." Bioram laughed, and the sound made every Vorthak in the room step back. Human laughter was a sound that disturbed alien minds on a fundamental level. "High Commander, those people are farmers, teachers, doctors, and engineers. The man leading them used to be a soldier, but he retired 20 years ago to drive transport ships. These are literally the least dangerous humans you could possibly encounter." Veltar felt something cold move through his body. "If these are your least dangerous humans, what are your most dangerous ones like?" "You don't want to know," Bioram said quietly. "Trust me on this, you really don't want to know." But Veltar did want to know. Over the following weeks, he ordered his intelligence teams to dig deeper into human culture and history. What they found kept him awake during his sleep cycles. Humans had something called special forces, soldiers trained specifically to fight impossible battles against overwhelming odds. They had Marines, who specialized in capturing enemy positions through sheer violence and determination. They had pilots who flew machines designed to kill other pilots in aerial combat, most terrifying of all. They had something called military engineers, people who spent their lives designing better ways to destroy their enemies, the humans. At Tau Ceti used mining equipment as weapons, Veltar told his war council. "Imagine what their actual weapons are like." Fleet Commander Morgak raised one of his arms. "High Commander, perhaps we are overthinking this. They are still just one species on one planet. We control hundreds of worlds." "Do we?" Veltar asked. "Show me our casualty reports from human space." The displays changed to show lost statistics. In 6 months of fighting humans, the Vorthak had lost more ships than in the previous century of galactic conquest. Every engagement with humans resulted in disproportionate alien casualties. Worse, the humans were learning. Each battle showed them adapting their tactics, improving their weapons, finding new ways to kill Vorthak soldiers. They acted like a species that had been bred for war. "The humans have sent scouts into our territory," the intelligence officer reported. "Our border patrols have been disappearing." "Disappearing how?" "The ships are found intact, High Commander. But the crews are gone, just done. Sometimes we find evidence of boarding actions, but no bodies. No signs of battle. The humans take our people and vanish like ghosts." Bioram spoke from her position near the wall. "You're encountering Earth's Special Operations Forces. They're probably studying your technology and interrogating your crews." "Interrogating?" Veltar asked. "For what purpose?" "To learn how you think, how you fight, what scares you." Bioram smiled, and it was not a pleasant expression. "Humans are very good at finding out what makes their enemies afraid." The War Council fell silent. The idea of enemies who studied fear as a weapon was disturbing to Vorthak minds. Their entire military philosophy was based on intimidating weaker species into surrender. "High Commander," the communications officer announced, "we are receiving a transmission from the human homeworld. They want to negotiate." "Put it on the main display," Veltar ordered. The screen showed a middle-aged human male in a simple uniform. He looked tired and slightly annoyed, like someone who had been interrupted during important work. "This is Admiral Hayone of Earth's Stellar Defense Corps," the human said. "We understand you've been having some trouble with our colonists." Veltar stepped forward. "I am High Commander Veltar of the Vorthik Empire. Your people have killed thousands of our warriors. We demand immediate surrender." Admiral Hayone looked puzzled. "Surrender? High Commander, I think there's been a misunderstanding. We haven't started fighting you yet." "Haven't started?" Veltar's voice rose. "Your forces have destroyed over 90 of our ships." "Those weren't our forces. Those were civilians, refugees actually. Families with children who just wanted to start a farm on a new planet." The Admiral paused. "You attacked refugees, High Commander." "That was a mistake." "If those were not your military forces, then where is your military?" Admiral Haywone's expression changed. The tired annoyance was replaced by something much colder. "Our military is preparing to visit your territory, High Commander, to discuss your policy of attacking human civilians." The transmission ended. Veltar stood in the suddenly quiet command chamber, trying to process what he had just heard. The humans who had devastated 2 Vorthik fleets were not soldiers. They were refugees, families with children. "Oh, Ram," he said quietly, "what is Earth's actual military like?" The human woman looked at him with something that might have been pity. "High Commander, my species has spent 10,000 years learning how to kill things that are bigger, stronger, and more dangerous than we are. We've fought ice ages, plagues, predators, and each other. We've survived by becoming the most creative killers in the galaxy." She gestured toward the battle recordings still playing on the displays. "Those colonists you fought? They turned farming equipment into weapons because that's what humans do. We take whatever we have and turn it into a way to hurt our enemies." "But surely your actual military cannot be so different from other species' forces." Bioram laughed again, and this time the sound made Veltar's guards reach for their weapons. "High Commander, do you know what humans call their military? They call it the Department of Defense, because they think of war as something they do to protect their families." "That sounds reasonable. You attacked their families. You killed human children. You threatened human colonies." Bioram's voice became very quiet. "High Commander, you just turned Earth's Department of Defense into the Department of Revenge. And humans are very, very good at revenge." Veltar looked at the tactical displays showing Vorthak fleets moving toward human space. Thousands of ships, millions of soldiers, weapons that had conquered hundreds of worlds for the first time in galactic history. The Vorthik Empire was afraid of a single planet, and they were right to be afraid. Fleet Admiral Dongjun stood on the bridge of the EDS Soul's Pride, flagship of Earth's first interstellar battle fleet. Through the huge window, he could see 200 ships of various sizes preparing for humanity's first major interstellar war. 6 months had passed since the Tau Ceti incident. 6 months of preparation, training, and building weapons designed specifically for fighting the Vorthik Empire. Now it was time to show the galaxy what Earth's real military could do. "Admiral," his communications officer reported, "all ships. Report ready for jump." Dongjun had been fighting wars for 40 years. He had commanded fleets during the Mars Rebellion, the asteroid campaigns, and the Jupiter-Moon Wars, but this was different. This time, humans were fighting for their survival as a species. "Signal from Tau Ceti colony, sir," the officer continued. "Captain Hyan Wu reports that enemy reinforcements are arriving in his system. 200 alien ships." 200 ships? "Attacking our colonists?" Dongjun said quietly. "That's unacceptable." Captain Nayoung entered the bridge. She commanded the stealth destroyer Soul's Vengeance, one of the new ships built specifically for asymmetric warfare. Her vessel was covered in adaptive camouflage that could make it look like space debris or even empty space itself. "Admiral, my scouts report heavy Vorthik fleet movements throughout their territory. They're mobilizing everything they have." "Good," Dongjun replied. "That means they're scared. Scared enemies make mistakes." Colonel Wu Jin's voice came over the ship's communication system from the troopship Inchin Landing. Admiral, the 1st Orbital Drop Division is ready for combat deployment. We've studied all available data on Vorthok ground forces. What's your assessment, Colonel? They're used to fighting enemies who surrender quickly, sir. Their soldiers are trained for occupation duty, not actual combat. This should be interesting. Dongjun smiled grimly. Earth's military had been designed around a simple principle. Assume you will always be outnumbered and outgunned, then figure out how to win anyway. Every weapon, every tactic, every strategy was built for fighting superior forces. The Vorthok Empire was about to discover what that meant. All ships prepare for quantum jump to Vorthok border space. Operation Homecoming is now active. Space twisted around the human fleet as they jumped across dozens of light years in seconds. When reality reassembled, they were in enemy territory for the first time in human history. Sir, the sensor officer reported, detecting multiple Vorthok patrol fleets. Looks like 30 ships in the immediate area. Only 30? Dongjun asked. They're very confident or very stupid? Captain Nayoung's voice came over the radio from her stealth ship. Admiral, request permission to begin harassment operations. Granted. Show them what Earth's ghost can do? The soul's vengeance vanished from all sensors, becoming invisible to Vorthok detection systems. Minutes later, explosions began lighting up the darkness as alien ships simply started dying for no apparent reason. The Vorthok patrol commander sent desperate messages to his superiors. Unknown attackers in Sector 7. Ships are being destroyed by invisible weapons, requesting immediate reinforcements. But when reinforcements arrived, they found only empty space and the wreckage of their comrades. The humans had vanished like smoke, leaving no trace except destruction. This was humanity's new doctrine. Never fight fair when you can fight smart. 300 light-years away, Colonel Wu Jin's dropships approached a Vorthok military base on the planet Kethra. The base was supposed to be impregnable, protected by energy shields and automated defenses. Colonel, his sergeant reported, enemy shields are up. Should we wait for the fleet to bombard them? Negative, Wu Jin replied. We're not here to destroy their base, we're here to take it. The dropships didn't attack the shields. Instead, they landed outside sensor range and deployed something new, human soldiers trained in three-dimensional warfare. Men and women who could fight in space. In atmosphere, underground, or in the ocean with equal skill, the Vorthok guards never saw them coming. Earth Special Forces had studied alien psychology for months, learning exactly how to terrify and confuse their enemies. They used stealth, misdirection, and psychological warfare to turn the base's own defenses against its occupants. By morning, the impregnable fortress was under human control. Its alien garrison captured and its computers downloaded into Earth's intelligence networks. Admiral, Colonel Wu Jin reported to the fleet, Kethra base is secure. We've captured intact examples of their latest military technology. Also, we found something interesting in their communications logs. What kind of interesting? They've been in contact with their high command about humans. Sir, they're absolutely terrified of us. Back on the flagship, Admiral Dongjun studied the intelligence reports flowing in from across Vorthok space. His ships were appearing without warning, striking alien fleets with devastating precision, then vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. Most importantly, they were winning. Sir, his intelligence officer reported, we're intercepting increasing panic in alien communications. They're calling us ghost demons and the invisible death. Ghost demons? Pengzhen laughed. I like that. Captain Nayoung's voice crackled over the radio. Admiral, I've located a major Vorthok fleet heading toward Tau Ceti, 50 ships, moving fast. Can your stealth ships handle 50 enemy vessels? Alone? No, sir. But I have an idea that might work. Nayoung's plan was simple and brutal. Her stealth ships would shadow the alien fleet, transmitting detailed targeting information to human ships waiting in ambush. When the aliens arrived at Tau Ceti, they would find the colonists still fighting desperately with their improvised weapons. What they wouldn't see were the human warships hiding in the system's asteroid fields. The Vorthok fleet commander felt confident as his ships approached the human colony. Intelligence reports showed a damaged colony ship defended by primitive weapons. His 50 modern warships should crush the resistance in hours. Begin bombardment of human positions, he ordered. But as his ships moved into attack formation, space around them suddenly came alive with weapons fire. Human warships emerged from hiding places throughout the system, their guns already locked onto alien targets. The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. When it was over, 47 Vorthak ships were destroyed or captured. The 3 survivors fled in panic, carrying news that would shake the Empire to its foundations. Captain Han Wu watched the alien retreat from his damaged colony ship. Around him, his fellow colonists cheered as the latest threat disappeared. But Hyung Woo was looking at something else. The sleek human warships that had appeared like guardian angels to save them. "So Young," he called to his wife, "look at that." She followed his gaze to see the EDS Soul's Pride moving slowly past their position. The massive ship was easily 10 times larger than their colony vessel, covered in weapons and sensors they couldn't even identify. "That's what Earth's real military looks like," So Young said softly. Admiral Dongchun's voice came over the communication channel. "Tau Ceti Colony, this is Admiral Dongjun of Earth's First Fleet. Sorry, we're late to the party." "Admiral," Hyan Wu replied, "we're very glad to see you. Captain, you and your people have done an outstanding job. But now it's time for the professionals to take over." Across Vorthak space, similar scenes were playing out. Human fleets appeared without warning, struck with devastating efficiency, then vanished before enemy reinforcements could respond. Alien bases fell to soldiers who fought like demons. Enemy ships died to weapons that struck from impossible ranges. For the first time in galactic history, the Vorthak Empire was losing a war. High Commander Veltar received the reports in his command chamber, each one worse than the last. Fleets destroyed, bases captured, entire sectors fall into human control. "How many ships have we lost?" he asked his intelligence officer. "Over 300, High Commander." "And the humans have lost 12. 12 ships? Against our entire military? Sir, the humans don't fight like any species we've encountered. They use tactics we've never seen. They turn our own strengths against us. Most importantly, they seem to actually enjoy combat." Veltar looked at the tactical displays showing human fleet movements. The aliens had expected a conventional war between fleets of ships. Instead, they faced an enemy that treated war like an art form. "Send a message to the human admiral," Veltar ordered. "Request ... negotiations." The reply came back within hours, transmitted on all Vorthak frequencies, so every alien in the Empire could hear it. "High Commander Veltar, this is Fleet Admiral Dongjun. We'll be happy to negotiate. Send your surrender terms to Earth immediately." "Surrender terms?" Veltar's voice cracked. "We are not surrendering." "Then we'll continue this conversation until you change your mind. Earth out." The transmission ended, leaving Veltar staring at displays showing the systematic destruction of his empire's military forces. For the first time in Vorthak history, they were facing an enemy they couldn't intimidate, couldn't overpower, and couldn't defeat. The humans were just getting started. 3 months after Earth's military entered the war, High Commander Veltar stood in what remained of his command chamber. Half the displays were dark, showing sectors that had fallen to human control. The other half showed Vorthak fleets in full retreat across a dozen star systems. The Vorthak Empire, ruler of 300 worlds for over 2,000 years, was dying. "High Commander," his communications officer announced with a trembling voice, "the humans are requesting a meeting. They want to ... discuss terms." Veltar looked at the tactical display one more time. In 3 months, the humans had destroyed over 800 Vorthak ships, while losing only 23 of their own. Entire alien fleets had simply vanished. Their crews found days later on remote planets, alive but too terrified to explain what had happened to them. "Where do they want to meet?" Veltar asked. "Tau Ceti system, High Commander." Where this all began. Veltar felt something like irony in the situation. The place where a few human colonists had first resisted the Empire would now witness its surrender. Prepare my ship. Signal the humans that I will come personally. The journey to Tau Ceti took 2 days. During that time, Veltar received constant reports of human advances throughout Vorthak space. They weren't just winning battles anymore. They were reshaping the entire region of the galaxy according to their own plans. When his ship arrived at Tau Ceti, Veltar saw something that made his 4 hearts skip beats. The system was full of human ships, but not just military vessels. There were colony ships, construction platforms, mining operations, and what looked like mobile cities. They're not just conquering our space, he whispered to himself. They're moving into it. His communications officer looked up from her station. Hi, Commander. We're being hailed by the original colony ship, the one our forces first attacked. Put them on screen. The display showed the bridge of a ship that looked completely different from the damaged vessel the Empire had first encountered. It was clean, organized, and filled with sophisticated equipment that definitely wasn't standard colony gear. Captain Hyan Wu appeared on screen, but he was wearing a military uniform now instead of civilian clothes. Behind him stood other members of the original colonist group, all of them looking professional and dangerous. Hi, Commander Veltar, Hyan Wu said with a slight smile. Welcome back to Tau Ceti. I believe you wanted to discuss surrender terms? I came to negotiate a ceasefire, Veltar replied stiffly. The Vorthak Empire is prepared to recognize human sovereignty over this system. Hyan Wu's smile got wider. Hi, Commander, I think you misunderstand the situation. You're not negotiating with Tau Ceti colony anymore, you're negotiating with Earth. The screen changed to show a much larger ship approaching Veltar's position. The EDS Soul's Pride was easily 20 times the size of his command vessel, bristling with weapons and sensors that made Vorthak technology look primitive. Hi, Commander, Admiral Dongchun's voice came over the communication channel. Please? Dock with our ship. There are some people who want to meet you. An hour later, Veltar found himself in a conference room aboard the human flagship. The room was designed for intimidation, but not in the way Vorthak chambers were. This room was intimidating because of its occupants. Admiral Dongjun sat at the head of a long table, flanked by other human military officers. But what made Veltar's blood run cold were the civilians also present. Captain Hyanwu was there, along with his wife So Young. Taemin the engineer sat next to Jinhei the teacher. Dr. Young Soo was studying alien medical data on a tablet computer while taking notes. Hi, Commander, Admiral Dongjun began. I'd like you to meet the people who started this war. These, are the colonists who attacked our ships? Veltar said, trying to maintain some dignity. Actually, Haimu corrected, we're the colonists you attacked. There's a difference. So Young looked up from her own tablet. Hi, Commander. We've been studying your species' biology and psychology for the past year. Would you like to know what we've learned? Veltar felt trapped. These humans looked at him like scientists examining an interesting specimen. What have you learned? Your people are bullies, Jinhei said simply. You've spent thousands of years conquering species that couldn't fight back. You've never faced real resistance. Taemin gestured toward a wall display showing Vorthak fleet positions. Your military doctrine is based on overwhelming technological superiority. When that doesn't work, you have no backup plan. Most importantly, Dr. Young-soo added, your psychology can't handle the idea of fighting someone who's actually better at war than you are. Admiral Dongjun leaned forward. Hi, Commander, let me explain what's going to happen. The Vorthak Empire is finished. Your fleets are destroyed, your worlds are under human protection, and your government is in exile. Protection? Veltar asked. We're not conquerors, High Commander, we're liberators. The species you've been oppressing for centuries are finally free, and they're very grateful to us. Captain Nayoung entered the room carrying a datapad. Admiral, the Catharian delegation has arrived. They're ready to sign the Mutual Defense Treaty. Catharians? Veltar's voice cracked. But they were our subjects. Were, Heinwu emphasized. Now they're our allies. Along with the Zalari, the Makrani, and about 50 other species you used to oppress? So Young smiled pleasantly. Hi. Commander, we didn't just fight your military. We liberated your empire. Every species you conquered is now free to choose their own destiny. And they all chose to ally with humans, Janae added. Veltar looked around the room at the faces staring back at him. These weren't the desperate refugees his forces had first encountered. These were the people who had turned the galaxy's greatest empire into a historical footnote in less than a year. What do you want from us? He asked quietly. Admiral Dongjun placed a document on the table. Unconditional surrender of all Vorthak military forces. Reparations to the species you've oppressed. War crimes trials for your leadership. And restrictions on your ability to develop military technology. And if we refuse? Then we'll continue this conversation until you change your mind, Hyun Woo said, echoing the Admiral's earlier words. High Commander, you attacked our families. You killed our children. You made this personal. Taemin pulled up tactical displays showing human fleet positions throughout former Vorthak space. We have 5,000 ships now, High Commander. More arriving every day, and we're still just getting started. 5,000? Veltar stared at the displays. How is that possible? Dr. Young-Soo laughed. High Commander, Earth has a population of 12 billion people. We've been building ships and weapons for this war for almost a year. Did you think we'd send our entire military in the first wave? First wave? Veltar felt something cold crawl up his spine. Admiral Dongjun nodded. What you've been fighting is our rapid response force, designed for quick strikes and emergency deployments. Our main battle fleets are still being prepared. Main battle fleets, Veltar repeated numbly. 80,000 ships, High Commander. With weapons designed specifically for fighting large-scale interstellar wars. We call it the Deep Strike Fleet. Colonel Wu Jin's voice came over the ship's communication system. Admiral, the second wave has just arrived in system. Shall I have them take positions? Please do, Colonel. The room's windows showed space outside the ship suddenly filling with human vessels. Thousands of ships of every size and description, from tiny fighters to massive dreadnoughts that dwarfed even the flagship. Veltar stared at the armada surrounding his lone command ship. This was Earth's real military. Not the desperate colonists he had first encountered, not even the professional soldiers who had been destroying his fleets for months. This was what humans built when they had time to prepare for war. High Commander, So Young said gently, we tried to be peaceful, we really did. We just wanted to grow food and raise our children on a nice quiet planet. But you wouldn't let us, Janae added, her voice harder. You decided to attack families with children, so we called our government. Taemin gestured toward the massive fleet outside. This is what our government does to people who threaten human families. Dr. Young-Soo placed the surrender documents in front of Veltar. High Commander, you have two choices. Sign these papers and accept that the Vorthak Empire is finished, or continue fighting and watch us systematically dismantle your entire civilization. Either way, Admiral Dongjun said, this war ends today. The only question is whether your people survive to see tomorrow. Veltar looked at the papers, then at the humans around the table. These were the same people his forces had dismissed as primitive refugees less than a year ago. Now they held the fate of his entire species in their hands. He picked up the pen and signed the surrender documents. Welcome to the new galaxy, High Commander, Hyun Woo said. It's going to be a much more peaceful place. Outside the ship, human fleets began their work of rebuilding the region of space that had once been the Vorthak Empire. But now it would be something better, a collection of free worlds protected by the most terrifying military force the galaxy had ever seen. Earth's Department of Defense had become the Department of Galactic Peace, and everyone in the galaxy was very, very careful not to threaten human families ever again. The colonists of Tau Ceti finally got their quiet farm.